afternoon, everyone. This is Marie with Your New School. Welcome, welcome. For those of you who are logged in or those of you who are just jumping on, if you can please make sure that you are utilizing the chat box to type in your full name, your full school name, and school location. Please do not abbreviate your school name. There's a lot of schools that have very similar, if not the same, abbreviations. So I want to make sure that I'm sending your attendance to the right school. The chat box is the only thing that saves after I log off. So that's why we have to make sure that you typed in the correct information into the chat box. So I need your full name, full school name, along with your school location, especially if your school has multiple campuses. And then all of that needs to go into the chat box for attendance. And then also please make sure that you guys keep your microphones muted and keep your cameras off. From what I understand, with the cameras off, it minimizes the buffering or the lag in the presentation. And then microphones, just because of the large number of participants, that just will minimize static and feedback. So again, microphones muted, cameras turned off, and then just make sure that you have your full name, full school name, and school location in the chat box for attendance. And then we're going to get started in about 5-6 minutes from now.
Hi, Marie.
Hi, Judy. I just made you co-host. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I don't. Where do you see it at?
I don't know. Emily says it usually pops up on her screen when she sees that I made her a co-host.
Yeah,
No.
it doesn't
I have
go
no
on.
on your end.
It says it in the participants, though. Your co-host also. All three of us are.
Okay.
Fabulous. Good afternoon. So for those of you who are just jumping on, we are going to start in just a few minutes. In the meantime, if you have not done so already, please make sure that you've typed in your full name, your full school name. Please do not abbreviate your school name, as we have multiple schools that have similar, if not the same abbreviations when abbreviated. So please make sure that it's the full school name along with your school location. In case you are from a school that has multiple campuses, I want to make sure that I'm sending your attendance to the correct campus. So again, full name, full school name, and school location in the chat box for attendance purposes. If this is your first time jumping on a webinar with us, the chat box is the only thing that saves. So when I log off, that's the only means of tracking your attendance. So please make sure that you are typing that information into the chat box. Also, please make sure that your microphones stay muted and that your cameras are turned off. This is going to minimize feedback, and it's also going to minimize any type of buffering or lagging in the presentation.
Marie, is this being recorded?
Yes, they are all recorded.
All right, thanks.
All right, good afternoon and welcome everyone. My name is Marie Strock. I am the educator with Your New School. Today's webinar is going to be on doing some nail mending using gel products. Nail lines, we do not have a wrap system. So I am going to show you a couple of different options that you have if you do have wrap fiber. Again, before I get started, I'm just going to make sure that we repeat for those of you who are just jumping on. If you have not done so already, please make sure that you've typed in your full name, full school name, and your school location into the chat box for attendance purposes. If this is your first time on one of our webinars, the chat box is the only thing that gets saved. So that is the only way I can track attendance. So please, please, please make sure your full name, full school name, do not abbreviate anything into the chat box. Also, please make sure that you keep your microphones muted. Myself, Emily, and Judy, we will do our best to keep those microphones muted. Also, please make sure that you've turned your cameras off. That's going to help with preventing any delay or lagging or buffering in the presentation. So without further ado, let's get started. So welcome to the world of Nail Alliance. Our mission statement is to provide the salon industry with all the tools needed to help make salon businesses even more successful with the latest and greatest in nail products, establish opportunity for learning through proper education and training courses domestically and internationally, create superiority within the industry as the go-to nail manufacturer for state-of-the-art products proven to perform to the best of standards while upholding the motto done right from the start, and to understand the needs of the salon industry. As nail professionals ourselves, we have a clear understanding of the industry and the demand for the highest quality products and services possible, which is why quality has and will always be our #1 priority. So who is Nail Alliance? We are the Gelish Soak Off Gels, Gelish Hard Gels, Morgan Taylor Nail Polish, Baird Luxury Manicure Pedicure products, Nail Harmony, Prohesion, and more. So today's focus is going to be using the nail wraps or mending, and we're going to use, I'm going to show you the traditional method, or we'll talk about the traditional method using the nail secure resin, using Gelish Soak Off Gels, and Gelish Hard Gels. So like I said previously, Hand and Nail Harmony, we don't have a wrap system, so I've taken products that are available within our lines and kind of altered and kind of created my own way of wrapping nails. So we still have our traditional way with using resin, but I actually prefer gel products. So I wanted to show and share that with you. So the first step when performing a artificial nail service or any artificial covering to the nail is to perform a dry manicure. So you want to make sure that your hands and your client's hands are sanitized. If they're wearing polish, remove their polish. You want to file and shape the natural nail using the 180 grit file. Make sure you push back your cuticles with your cuticle pusher that has the file tabs on it. And then you'll gently buff the surface of the nail to remove the surface. You'll use nail surface cleanse and a lint-free wipe to remove the dust. And then you will further dehydrate the nail using pH bond. So the first method we're going to talk about is the traditional method, where you use the nail secure resin or a nail glue. So after you've done your prep steps, the first thing you want to do is cut a piece of your wrap that is long enough to extend from the cuticle to over the free edge. You want to be sure that the wrap is not touching the cuticle area. So just like any other artificial nail service, you just don't want to be touching the cuticle or the skin. So to apply your wrap, you're going to apply a thin coat of your nail secure resin to the nail and then place your pre-cut wrap fiber onto the nail. You can use an orange wood stick to smooth the fiber so it's laying nice and flat. You want to wait a few seconds for that resin to start to dry, and then you're just going to gently pull the fiber lightly to be sure that it is secure and that it is covering the free edge. Now you need to allow the resin to air dry, and then once it's dry, you can file any excess fiber from the free edge. You'll then apply a second coat of your resin. You're going to want to allow the resin to dry fully. And then once it's fully dry, then you'll give the nail a light buff to smooth out any bumps that you can still feel from the fiber. Now, I like to apply a third coat. You don't have to. 2 coats is the suggested manufacturer. If you've ever done a traditional resin, they just do 2 coats. I like to do 3. So if you do a third coat, also just make sure that it is completely dry, and then you would buff the surface to smooth it like you did before. Remove the dust with nail surface cleanse and a lint-free wipe, and then finish the nail as desired, and that is a typical wrap. I don't have patience. If you sat in on any of my other webinars, you will know I don't have patience for anything that air dries these days. So I switched and I started using gel products. So the first one we're going to talk about is using the Soak Off Gel polishes. So you'll still follow the same prep step. So you'll still follow your dry manicure step. After you've performed your dry manicure, you're going to apply your foundation base coat to the nail, just like you would if you were polishing the nail. You'll then apply your silk fiber to the damaged area or the entire nail if you're doing this for strength. You'll cure for 5 seconds in your 18G, or depending on the light you're using, just follow your manufacturing curing times based on your light. Then you'll dry brush your foundation just like you would if you were polishing the nail. You'll then apply 1 coat of structure gel. And structure gel is a soak-off builder gel that is used for repairing damaged nail plates. Or if you have a client that has really thin nails and they just need a little extra structure and support, you can use structure gel. You'll cure your structure gel for 30 seconds in your 18G. You'll remove the tacky layer with your nail surface cleanse and a lint-free wipe. Using your buffer, you're going to buff the surface of the nail and then remove the dust again. And then you'll apply a final coat of structure gel if you need to. So structure gel is a builder gel. So you can build an enhancement with it. So depending on how thick or thin you've applied that structure gel will determine if you need to apply a third coat, or if you potentially overfiled, you may need to apply a third coat, but that is completely optional. Apply your second coat of your soap, and then you'll apply gel polish. You'll apply 2 coats of your gel polish of choice, or if you're not going to be polishing the nails, then you can move right on to your top it off top coat. And then you'll seal your enhancement with your top it off top coat, cure for 30 seconds, remove the inhibition layer with your nail surface cleanse and a lint-free wipe, and then apply nourishing oil. Your third option is to use the hard gel system. So again, you're still going to follow your same prep steps and perform your dry manicure. You're also going to now have to apply your Pro-Bond acid-free primer because you're now using a hard gel. So in our hard gel system, we have a builder gel and then we have clear gel. Clear gel is a medium viscosity gel. It's a little bit more runny. We use it for capping pink and whites, or you can just do a thin layer over natural nails that need a little extra support. So it's a little more liquidy compared to a builder gel. We don't build with clear gel, but it makes the perfect option for doing nail repair. So you'll apply a thin layer of your clear gel, and then you'll apply your silk fiber on top of it or into the damaged area, and then you'll cure for 30 seconds in your 18G. You'll apply a second coat of your clear, cure for 30 seconds, remove the tacky surface with your lint-free wipe and nail surface cleanse, and then you're just going to gently buff the surface of the nail to smooth it, cleanse the dust, and then again, if you feel you need a third coat, you can apply a third coat. I feel that 2 coats typically with the hard gel is fine. And then to finish, you'll finish with photo finish if you're not going to be polishing. If you are going to be polishing, then you'll use your choice of either regular polish or gel polish. But if you're not polishing, then you'll apply photo finish, remove the tacky surface with your nail surface cleanse and a lint-free wipe, and then apply nourishing oil. So depending on your client or what you're doing will determine which method you choose. Again, I never do the traditional method. I don't have patience for air dry products. But if your client is somebody who doesn't want any type of artificial nail product on their nail, then the traditional method is the choice for that client. If I have just a little bit of a fracture in my nail, then I will do a surface crack, then I will do the soak off gels. Now, if I've got a really deep crack further down the surface of my nail, that's when I would choose hard gel. And the reason why I prefer the hard gel over the soak off gel is when the client comes back to get a polish change and you go to soak off their gel polish, you're also soaking off your repair work. So what I like to do is I do my repair with hard gel because hard gel does not soak off. It's a file off product. And then I don't have to repair that crack in the nail. And that can just grow out. I can change my gel polish without having to repair that nail again. So those are the types of situations that you will decide which is the best choice for you. Or if you just don't have the hard gel, but you do have soak off gel products, then that's what you're going to use. So I'm going to flip my camera on, and then I will show you guys how to, we'll do a couple of different techniques. Emily and Judy, let me know when you guys can see the my workstation. I don't know what's going on with this computer. Whose microphone that is, but it's not letting me mute them. So if you guys can please check your microphones and make sure that they are all muted. Thank you so much.
I could see your workstation.
Perfect, thank you. I'm actually gonna make my video the spotlight video so that nobody else's names pop up. All right, now before I get started, if you have not done so already, please make sure that you've typed in your full name, your full school name, and your school location into the chat box so that we can track attendance. That would be greatly appreciated. And then also please make sure that you've turned your cameras off and muted your microphones. Okay, so a couple different options for your choice of fiber. So if you are one of our schools, and you've received our nail kits, you'll receive this long sheet of fiber, and I love this fiber. It has a sticky adhesive to it, so you can cut it, peel it back, and stick it to the nail. All of my instructions went based on using traditional silk because this is easier to come by. I feel like I see this everywhere. This one too. But sometimes the pre-adhesive ones are not as easy to come by. So if they're not, I made sure that you knew how to use the original fiber. Let me move my scissors and tweezers out of the way. And this is just silk fiber that comes in sheets or rolls, and then you have to cut it. There's no sticky side. So you do have to put a layer of some sort of product, whether it's the resin, the base coat, so that you can stick your fiber to it. But if you have the pre-sticky fiber, then you can omit that, put the fiber on first, and then paint over it. You can also get your fiber in pre-cut sized strips so that you can just peel off the size that you need. To be honest, I don't really like these. I have them, I just don't ever use them. My preferred is actually this silk. I don't mind these, but I don't know, this is my go-to. It's what I like to use. You use what you like to use. It is your choice. So I've pre-snapped a couple of nails, so each of these have a nice little crack going on in here. So we're gonna mend these two. I'm not gonna show you the traditional method, again, because I don't have any patience to dry, and we'll be here well past, it just takes forever to dry. But the application is pretty much the same. Maybe I will, we'll do it. Okay. So the first thing you wanna do is do a dry, yeah, it's autofocus. I have no control over the focusing. It does it on its own once something comes into focus with it. So you'll have your cuticle pusher and your file tab. You're gonna push back their cuticles. If they're wearing polish, make sure that you remove their polish. I like to use the 400 side of my 180-400 to file and shape the natural nail. So I typically do a lot of repair on my thumbs, especially this thumb. I usually get a crack right down here. However, this time around, I didn't have to do any repair. The only thing I had to do was pick a darker white or pinky color to cover up my hair color stains. All right, so now we are going to remove the surface shine with our buffer. Using a lint-free wipe and nail surface cleanse, you'll remove the dust. This is also going to help to dehydrate the nail. You're going to further dehydrate with your pH bond. And then we're going to do the traditional first, since that's going to take the longest to dry. And I'm going to actually use all three of these. Since we're doing 3 nails, we're going to use all 3 of these products. So let's start with this one, my least favorite. So when you're sizing, you want to make sure that you're not going to be touching the cuticle or the nail groove. And then if you don't have one that fits, make sure you've got scissors of sorts so that you can trim it down if it needs to be trimmed down. So now the nice thing about these is that they are just like this product where it has the sticky adhesive. So we are going to, I didn't grab an orange wood stick, I need to grab an orange wood stick. So we're going to take our sticky or wrap. We're going to apply it to the nail. Grab an orange wood stick. So I'm just going to roll this into place. I'm going to cut this excess off. I'm going to grab my resin, and I'm just making sure that I'm a hairline away. Now this would just be for reinforcement. This is not really a repair. This would be for somebody who's just looking for reinforcement. A repair would be where you're only applying the silk to that area. So we'll take our resin. And apply our resin to our form. Again, I like to use my orange wood stick and really make sure that I'm pressing that down into the nail. So now we have to let this dry. And I'm going to wait a few seconds, and then I would just give this a little tug so that it covers. I'm just going to use my orange wood stick. So we're going to let that dry. So while that dries, we're going to move on to our soak-off products. So the soak-off products, I'm going to use structure gel. So structure gel comes in 3 colors: cover pink, clear, and translucent pink. It doesn't matter, they're all the same, it just depends on your coverage that you're looking for. We're going to just use clear for today. Now if you don't have structure gel, you can use foundation. You just have to do like 3 or 4 coats to really build that structure that you need, or the support that you need. Let me just mute somebody's microphone really quick. So I am going to use the structure gel. So we'll do that. So when you're applying foundation, or at least the gelish foundation, base coat, a very little goes a very long way. You don't want a lot. When you're applying foundation, you do want to apply with some force. I like to start like 1/4 of an inch away from the natural nail, or the cuticle, or you can just start in the middle. You just want to fan out your bristle so that they fan out, and then I'm just going to shimmy my bristles to the cuticle area, and I'm really pushing down on my brush and massaging this into the nail. And you want to be a hairline away from the cuticle and the nail groove. You don't want to be touching the skin. And you really want to push, 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 and get a nice thin layer. Cap your free edge. Now, if I was doing a whole hand, I would flip this and move on to the next finger. So very little. If you use too much foundation, and I'm not talking just from doing repair work, if you use too much foundation and you are polishing, you are going to create lifting. All right, so I'm going to cut just a very small piece. So I'm only going to apply to where my damaged area is on my nail. So this is again a piece that is pre-sticky. However, when you're doing gel products, that really doesn't matter because you have to get the foundation on first. If you were to put this first and then massage that foundation in, it's gonna move your silk. So put your foundation first, grab your silk, apply it to the area that needs mending. Pat that into place. So get it right into the foundation. And now I have to give that a 5-second cure if you're using the 18G. Otherwise, depending on whatever lamp you're using, make sure that I'm using the 18G unplugged. So that only needs 5 seconds. You're then going to dry brush. So this is just a clean, dry brush. And you're just gonna wipe that tacky surface off of your foundation. So the foundation leaves this shiny, uncured layer of foundation. We wanna get that off before we put our structure gel on. So now we're gonna use structure gel. So structure gel is just like builder gel. It's a thick viscosity gel that you can build a nail with. But when I'm doing repair, I don't really do such a thick layer. So I'm gonna grab just a small bead on the end of my brush, and I'm gonna float my structure gel onto the entire surface of the nail. And just like hard gel, you just wanna float it and massage it into place. Now, if I picked up a larger bead, so let's say I just grabbed a larger bead, and I can roll this bead onto the nail, and then you would treat it just like you would a hard gel. You can build an arc with it, and then fill in on top of your silk. And you've basically created an artificial nail. So this requires a 30-second cure. So we're going to cure that for 30 seconds. Before I move back onto that one, I just want to file off my excess fiber off of this one. We're going to do another layer of resin. We're going to let that dry. I'm going to grab a lint-free wipe with some nail surface cleanse. We're going to get the sticky layer. Using my buffer, I'm just going to buff away any excess. I got a little fiber sticking off on the side there. I'm just going to buff that off. I'm going to buff the surface of my nail just to make sure that I don't feel any ridge or any bumps from the silk fiber. And then we will apply a final thin coat of, now if I built that first layer with a pretty thick layer of structure gel, I would not be doing this. But we're going to pretend that I didn't do that and that we just did a thin layer. So now we're going to do another thin layer just for support and to really make sure it's nice and smooth. Cure for 30 seconds. And then if we're going to polish, you would apply polish. Now, if you're using regular Morgan Taylor polish, remove the sticky layer. If you are not and you're going to polish with gel polish, you can go straight to your 2 coats of your gel polish followed by the top coat. But we're going to polish these at the very end. So now we're going to move on to the hard gel. So after your prep steps, we've dehydrated, you now need to apply your primer. Because now we're shifting and using a artificial nail product, artificial nail enhancement, so we do need to use our primer. Now this is my preferred method. I like to use the hard gel because I don't like to have to re-repair a nail. So you do need a gel brush, and it's very similar to the structure gel. It's just not a soak off, or it's a file off product. So this will not come off until you file it off. So I'm just going to pick up a really small bead, and I'm just going to apply it like I am applying a base coat. So I'm just going to do a nice thin layer. Make sure you get where your crack is. I'm going to put that crack back in its place because the nail was lifted a bit. We're going to put that right back where it belongs. And now I'm going to use my silk. And I'm going to cut square off. Tweezers are handy. And the same thing, you're just going to, now you could again do the whole nail if you wanted to. Again, I only do this for mending. I'm just going to push that down into the gel. Now this does need a 30-second cure, so you do have to cure for 30 seconds. And then while this is curing, if you have not done so already, please make sure that you've typed in your full name, full school name. Please do not abbreviate your school name because I won't know what school you're from, into the chat box along with your school location, so that if you have a school that has multiple campuses, that we are sending your attendance to the right campus. So again, full name, full school name, and school location. So I'm going to do a second coat of my clear gel. And I'm going to float that right on top. Give that a 30-second cure. remove the tacky surface. Taking your buffer, you're just going to buff the edge to make sure that you don't have any fiber that's sticking out, and then buff the surface of the nail to make sure that it's nice and smooth. So here you'll see, you can actually see where the fiber is. So I am going to do a third coat. No, maybe not. I don't know. I haven't decided. Yeah, I'm going to do a third coat. Just doing a light buff just to make sure it's nice and smooth. Remove the dust. So now these two are ready for polish. That is still wet and tacky, so that's not ready. Again, now you can see why I have no patience for this type of mending. I don't like waiting. So I'm going to grab, what color am I going to grab? I will grab a pink and a blue. All right, so we can go in with our gel polish. And I'm pretty sure that these two with the polish will be done long before I'm even ready to polish my traditional method. Now, the reason, if you have a product that is meant for mending, like if you have another product line that is, they have like an activator spray that speeds up the drying process, by all means, then use that, because that is what's going to speed up the drying. We just don't have a product for that. So for me, working with clients, I want in and out. The faster they're in and out the door, the faster, the more money I'm making. So my alternative was to use gel products and to use either the hard gel system or the soak off system. So really it depended on what I had available at the time or what my client wanted. So if they were looking for something that can soak off, then I would use the structure gel. If they were looking, if they had a crack really far down, I would definitely opt for the hard gel so that I don't have to re-repair it as it starts to grow out. So it just really depends. Can you use an accelerator with a resin instead of letting it? Yes, we just don't have one. And I can't go out and buy anything right now. Nor am I doing clients right now. So really I'm just fixing my own nails. I miss my clients. Do our second coat of polish. I love this I think if I bring this polish to a car dealership and say, I want my car this color, I can color match it. And that is still tacky. So needless to say, I'm not going to be polishing this one anytime soon. It is not new. The pink, what is this called? Hang on, let me cap it really quick. This pink is called You're So Sweet You Give Me a Toothache. I don't believe it's new. I think it's been around a while. And then we move on to our top coat to finish. I know I just did this pink on my toes. I had to actually do my toes. It was so nice out in Chicago this weekend. Got to enjoy a little bit of the outdoors. Now it's, I mean, not that it's not nice out now, but it's definitely not like it was this weekend. All right, so we're gonna cure that top coat. And then we'll remove the sticky layer and apply some nourishing oil. Now, if I was not going to polish over the hard gel system, let's say they were just going to leave their nails natural, you would finish with the photo finish gel top coat, but since I covered it with gel polish, then I opted for the gel polish top coat. Lint-free wipe, nail surface cleanse, remove sticky layer. And apply your nourishing oil. And this is still wet. So just this free edge is still pretty tacky. It's all still pretty tacky. We're just gonna let that sit. So after this has fully dried, then I would just take my buffer, buff the surface of the nail just to make sure that it's smooth, remove the dust, and then polish however you want to polish. If you are going to polish with gel polish, you do need to put a thin layer of foundation and then follow all of your same gel polish application steps, or you can finish with regular polish and do a base coat, 2 coats of polish, and a top coat. Having the fiber over with the resin, your nail polish, regular lacquer, is going to last a little longer. It's not going to chip as quickly because you have this coating over the natural nail. Now, differences on longevity. This is resin only. There's nothing covering this resin, and resin is water soluble, meaning it breaks down with water every time you wash your hands, so it will start to break down. So make sure that you have some sort of coating over this. If they don't want polish, at least put a clear coat, a clear top coat on, just so that it's protected, so that when they go to wash their hands regularly, it's not breaking down. These two, these are good. These are gonna last the full 2 weeks. This one will soak off, and then you do have to re-repair it because we used structure gel on the nail. So you would have to repair this nail. Unless that crack has grown off enough and you're cutting it off or shortening it, then obviously you don't have to worry about it. And then this nail with the hard gel, you can soak off your gel polish. You don't have to worry about the mending coming off because it's a hard gel, and that only comes off by filing it off. Now, if you are somebody who's that likes to file off their gel polish, then you just don't, I don't recommend that, but if for whatever reason that's what you do, make sure that you're not disturbing your repair, otherwise you'll have to re-repair the nail. So those are your options. So I personally have structure gel on my hands. I always put structure gel on, even if I'm not mending, because I have super thin nails. So I always have a layer of structure gel followed by my polish just to give my nails a little extra strength. As my nails grow out, they bend and curl a lot. So I always get those stress fractures right here on the edge of my nail because as they grow, they start to curl. I get a deep C curve and then I get breakage. They just crack. So I keep them short and I always have structure gel so that I have minimal breakage. And I'm really rough on my hands. I'm not a gentle person. So these have been my saving grace. I absolutely love these. These are also great because I did do the cover pink underneath just so that this color could have a little more of a pop. Otherwise, this is really sheer, and this just helps to give it, you know, see the true color on those sheer polishes. So cover pink is great for those reasons as well. So any other questions while we still wait for this one to dry? And then here, this should give you a better idea of how thick the structure gel is. So you can get like a good bead on your brush without it dripping off. So it's pretty much like a builder gel. Not as thick as a hard gel, but pretty close. And then the translucent pink. I actually like using the translucent pink and the cover pink as my base for doing French instead of using a sheer pink, like what's the Ambiance, I think is the one that we use a lot for French, which is like a shimmery pink, very sheer, like a sheer shimmery pink. We usually use this for the French. I actually like using the structure gel. It's beautiful, and I actually use that, and then I do my French application instead of polish. So that's another option for structure gel in either the translucent or the cover pink. I actually like the cover pink better for that reason. All right, so if you have not done so already, please make sure that you've typed in your full name, your full school name, along with your school location into the chat box for attendance. And then we will get your certificates and your attendance over to your schools by this afternoon. And then I will stay logged in for just a couple more minutes to give you guys time to do that. If you are interested in ordering any of the products that we use today, we do have a student order form available. It will be sent to schools upon request. So if you are interested, have your teacher or your school administrators request a copy of the student order form. We normally do not allow students to order products from us, but during this stay-at-home order, we are allowing it until the end of the month. So if that is something that you're interested in and ordering any of these products, have your school contact us for the order form and we'll get that sent over to you guys and you guys can place orders as well. So again, before I log off, please make sure that you've typed in your full name, full school name, and school location into the chat box before logging off.
Marie, it's Judy.
Hi, Judy.
you save the chat box?
I do.
All right.
It's the only thing that gets saved. Once I log off, everything else, like the participant box, all of that stuff disappears. The chat box automatically gets downloaded onto my desktop. So
All right.
I will have a copy of that. Do you want me to send you a copy?
Yeah.
Okay, I will definitely send you a copy.
And Emily, give me a call after this.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for spending some of your afternoon with me. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.